You watch, you waited. Now it's time to save. It's the grand opening sale of the all-new Stevenson Mazda.
Stevenson Mazda on Market Street.
Truckloads of 2010 Mazdas have arrived, and we're selling them at 2009 prices. Stevenson Mazda.
Cheers, the best you can't deny. INFINITY.
Cheerinfinity All-Stars is a competitive cheerleading and tumbling school. We accept all ages and skill levels. Whether you're looking to be on one of our nationally ranked All-Star teams or just want to learn about handspring, we have a place for you. Cheerinfinity All-Stars, where beginners become champions.
As the host of the Coach's Corner, I've had a lot of great conversations with some of the area's best high school football coaches, like how they develop a young quarterback's arm. It's all in the wrist.
High school football is here. John Rendelman is on top of his game with the Coach's Corner. Highlights, on-set interviews with area coaches, game analysis, music videos, and more every Sunday morning at 11:30 only on WWAY TV3.
During the grand opening sale at Stevenson Mazda, buy 2010 Mazda CX-7s for $21,990. New Mazda 3s for $179 a month. And every Mazda comes with our lifetime warranty.
Stevenson Mazda on Market Street.
Back on the cfsr Sports Report, driven by the Stevens Automotive Group. We've got our studio set up here at Francesco's this week. Make sure you come by and dine here. Great food. Each week we try to have a special guest in, and Mayor Bill Salvo was scheduled for this week. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it with us, and he'll be back with us on December 6th. Joining us instead, the reigning AP Rookie Reporter of the Year, Joe Masseri. Joe, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me here.
Not a problem. And short notice, appreciate you coming in and joining us here. Now, just about the halfway point of the season, which means some teams are going to be looking at playoff pictures and playoff scenarios, and other teams are going to be, well, you know, in
looking for the draft. They'll be looking for the draft. You know, it's funny, in the NFL, you kind of break it down into 4-week periods. You get your report card each right. step of the way. And, you know, the first 4 games, you look at it, you get off to that 4-0 start, you're in good shape. They had the Broncos who did that, you know, the Pats. Now the Broncos gone 2-2 in their last 2 games. The second half, you know, see some bumps in the road. They start to find out where their weaknesses are as they play other teams. So as we get to the middle of the season, this is where you find out who teams really are, especially with injuries piling up.
And not only that, then you get the 3-5, 5-3 teteams. Which one are you? Are you the 5-3 team, or that's going to go well and finish maybe 10-6, or are you going to go 3-5 the rest of the way and finish 8-8? So one of the best matchups this weekend involving a 3-5, 5-3 team is Carolina taking on Atlanta, and you got it's a division rivalry as well. It's so much more at stake than it. What's your take on this week's game?
Well, Carolina got off to a real slow start this season. They played some tough teams. They went on the road a little bit, and now they're coming in the division game. Their running game is starting to click. They put up a good fight against New Orleans last week, very similar to the previous week against Miami, but with that twin monster of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Now I know Williams is questionable this week, but those are guys you got to get 15 to 20 carries a game every game. And if you don't get them that, you're forcing Jake Delhomme to throw. And when the decision is on him, he's been making mistakes this year and dating back to last season's playoffs.
There's only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL that can get away with defenses knowing they're going to throw the ball on every down. And Jake, unfortunately, is not one of those guys. You got to have that. But one of the things I liked about the Falcons and the Panthers matchup this weekend, John Beeson's back. He didn't play in the first matchup. You look at the beginning of the season, there was no John Beeson in the middle linebacker for the Panthers. Now he's back, and all of a sudden that defense that was 26, I think they're in the top 15 now. And that one guy, that one element has made the difference, that big of a difference for them.
And after holding out earlier in the season for contract negotiations, Julius Peppers has been playing like an absolute beast. He's back to his form like he was a couple years ago. He's getting after the quarterback, and I think that opens up Beeson to run around the field, to make tackles and get isolated blocks so he can fight off just one blocker instead of being double teamed and get to the running back. And if you can stop that run, then you can get him in 3rd and long, and you know what's going to come. You can play the pass a little bit better. It
took a while for that defense to gel. Now it's gelling, and their 3-5 team, I think, has got a shot to make the playoffs.
I think the one thing you got to watch for is Steve Smith. He's your best player on the field still, and you got to find a way to get him the ball. If you can get him the ball coming off reverses, throw him quick screens to get it out there and keep him involved in the game, he's going to attract attention from defenses. If you just send him long and run him on double teams all day, it's going to be a lot harder to get open. And then if he gets disinvolved from the game, he gets disinterested, it's harder to get the rest of the team involved. But he can excite your team real quick. And as you know, Atlanta is one of the worst run defenses in the league right now. So if they can exploit that, start getting 8 in the box against the pass defense, it could open up some things for Steve Smith down the field. I think the Panthers got a good shot this week.
I'm going to take the Panthers this week. Now, a team that a lot of people are talking about is sort of coming on is the Dallas Cowboys. They are playing well. They beat Philly last week, which was a big win on the road for them, and they're going to Green Bay, who just coming off a week where they lost to Tampa Bay. They lost to Tampa Bay, and they were wearing the futility uniforms too. It was just
right.
How did Aaron Rodgers did? And Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. He's been hit over 100 times already this year.
I think they put an L in the book as soon as they put the uniforms on. So that was a little bit premature last week. I think you started with the Cowboys. As we said earlier, it's a league that's becoming more of a 2 and even 3-back league, and the Dallas Cowboys have that. Between Marion Barber and Felix Jones and Tashard Choice, they have 3 quality running backs. The thing that they were having some trouble with early in the season is everything was in the middle of the field.
Right.
Jason Witten, their main target for Tony Romo, was the middle of the field, the running backs, middle of the field. They needed somebody to open up the field outside the numbers. Miles Austin has been coming on huge, and as you can get some help outside there, it gets those safeties out of the middle, opens up things for Witten, opens up things for the running game, and I think that's why they've been having some success. And their defense is quietly, and everybody knows about DeMarcus Ware. But the cornerbacks, they've got some young cornerbacks, anchored by Terrence Newman, who's been there a little while, but some good young cornerbacks who have been shutting down the pass a little bit for them. They're going up against the Packers team, as you said. Ryan Grant is their running back. He's been a little bit of a disappointment, I think, after a couple of years ago.
Well, it's the offensive line. You're only as good as your offensive line. I mean, look at Edgerrin James. When he was with the Colts, he's the greatest running back of all time. He goes to Arizona, and they didn't have a good team then, and what happened?
And that's it. And, you look at the sacks that they've been getting on Aaron Rodgers this year. Green Bay played Minnesota 8 sacks in one game, 4.5 for Jared Allen. That's incredible numbers. That's a season for some guys right there in one game. I think DeMarcus Ware is going to have a great game. I think they're going to put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers to get rid of the ball quick. I think he makes some mistakes this week, and the Cowboys pull it out, but it's in Lambeau, so I think they win it in a close one, something like 28-24.
All right, Joe, 2 more games we need to talk about. You got Pittsburgh hosting Cincinnati. Cincinnati beat them earlier this year. First time they'd ever beat them in Cincinnati. Give me your spiel on that one.
All right, we've got Pittsburgh getting towards the middle of the season. This is when they tighten up. This is when it starts to get cold. This is when Pittsburgh runs the ball. Traditionally, they got a bit of a passing game now. Bengals have some expectations on them. I think the pressure's on them to actually win this game, and I don't know if they can live up to those expectations. I'm going to go with the traditional powerhouse and go with the Steelers in this one.
Bengals win. They sweep the Steelers and the Ravens in the same
Wow.
season. One more game, the game of the week, Sunday night. It is the New England Patriots heading to Indianapolis. They play every year. The Patriots on the first few times they played. Since then, the Indies sort of evened up things. What do you see?
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I mean, how could you go wrong? It's going to be a great game to watch. If you love football, this is what you want to see. I think the Colts secondary is just too decimated right now. They've got 2 cornerbacks out. Bob Sanders, they're all pro safety, gone for the season, torn biceps. I think that gives the advantage to New England. They're starting to click on offense. Moss and Welker putting up points every week. I think they squeak this one out in another high-scoring game, something like 31-28.
Take the over in this one.
31-28, definitely.
Oh, I think both of them are in the 30s.
Yeah, defensive nightmare. So.
All right, we'll take a break, Joe. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We'll be back with more on the Cape Fear Sports Report from Francesco's, driven by the Stevenson Automotive Group.